Good evening. I am Sensei Kevlar. Welcome back to the Dojo. So, I had a little break there, and I do apologize for my absence, but I'm back. And tonight I want to talk about more automation and its role in maintaining your portfolio. And make sure that I just really want to cut to the chase, right? I really want to get to how to make this work effectively, long term. But before we get there, I want to just talk a little bit more about mindset. So far what we've talked about is we've talked about ways to manage our money using dollar cost averaging, plotting trends, using technical analysis. Probably haven't talked enough about fundamental analysis, but that's okay. Because using technical analysis alone, you can make a plan for whatever the market does, even if it never goes up again and returns to this high. But doing things like keeping this dollar cost averaging is a pain in the ass. And doing things like finding all of this, ups and downs is kind of a pain in the ass. And that's why we turn a lot to automation. I mean, just aggregating the data is a form of automation. And then we take that data and we do further analysis in an aggregate, in an automated way. One thing we haven't covered, though, is the need to do things like reporting and business intelligence. Keeping track of our positions. If the strategy that we have just developed requires us to be in a lot of opportunities, and it requires us to, go ahead and make all those orders and keep all those things, keep track of where we are in the market and when we're profitable and how much we have to spend going down and how much we have to sell going up. We also need a way of keeping track of, where we're at. And this is where automation can really shine. It starts when you hook up, some form of software to your exchange. And how that looks is, Bittrex has something called an API. An API is not something to be afraid of. It just means a application programming interface, and it means a way for people to talk to your account, for services to talk to your account. Software. There are lots and lots of really good free applications out there that will do things like, take a read-only key of your Bittrex account and figure out what your dollar cost average is. I'm imploring you to use them. Maintaining this is a pain in the butt. Actually doing this math, keeping the Excel sheet, it's untenable. It's just too much work. We need to cut to the heart of the chase where we're actually doing this constantly, and we're doing this in an automated fashion. I encourage you to go out and explore more automation solutions for business intelligence. Keeping track of your portfolio and using these automation tools to do that, it's really a critical step. Because what I want to show you is what happens when, you are tracking these opportunities, coin, market, cap, is you've got, your money in 50 different things potentially. There's so many good opportunities. If you were not in Augur, you were not, getting the good stuff, the good rep that went soaring, right? You are not taking advantage of that opportunity, which has been going down and down and down. If you are not buying this right now, whatever it is, Decred or BAT, one of these, which is down, when it takes off like this, you won't be in it. When it goes like this, you won't be in it. So keeping track of all of your investments is critical. Keeping track of your business intelligence, you have to treat that through automation. There's just no other way that I know. If you are automating where you're going to be, doing your analysis here and figuring out how to make your plans, you should also be automating where your positions are. Sorry, Asuka. Not sure what's going on. Gonna continue though. You definitely got down days like this, but you definitely have up days like this. You definitely have situations where, you know, you need to be, you know, challenging yourself to continue to buy down. But you definitely have situations where if you were not in this at the bottom here, you're not going to be able to take advantage of this over here. APIs are how we deal with this business intelligence. So let's assume for a minute that we are now sophisticated traders. We know how to do this. We have the plan. We have sat here and we have studied the charts, and we have seen that when the RSI goes to here and when it goes to here and when the MACD crosses, when the volume indicator spikes, and when we sit here and make our projections and we plan our opportunities all the way down to the bottom of the market. I do mean the bottom of the market. Let me pull that in with you. The bottom of the market right here. Let's assume that we've done all of that. We've made the plan. It's time to actually execute on this. We need a strategy that's going to keep our money sane, keep our opportunities working for us. So let's say that we see an opportunity in this coin. This is Bitcoin, but it could be anything. Let's go to, I said BAT, USD. Let's go to that. Feels like working today. That'd be great. There we go. Okay. Let's see, you know, oh, we totally see an opportunity. This is a good time to buy, we say. We're liking this. Right? Right down here at this, you know, at this bottom, and, you know, it could bust through all the way down to here, right? Let's go ahead and plot that. Make sure that we've got our numbers here, right? See, it's just trailing along, and we're back down here, and we've got no kind of real decrease in volume, right? Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, first of all, we're going to come back here, and we're going to see if we have any prior history. We don't. So what are we going to do? We're going to do our projection. Take it down to here, up to here, extend it out into the future. Now we have our lines to make our plan against. We're going to make our plan all the way down to here. Right? Get us some good projections off of this. Maybe we do a second one to get us some more long-term numbers. We do one to here. Down to here. Shift it up to here. Bring it on across. Okay. Let's take a look at what we got. Got some nice correlated numbers in here. Okay. Now let's say we've actually made this plan. We're going to go through, we're going to make all of our numbers, we're going to figure out the plan, we're going to do the Excel sheet, we're going to, you know, keep out of the opportunities when the RSI stays here in the middle, we're going to, you know, keep small positions. We figured out that we need one position, but we figured out we need to know now how much we're keeping for the total. How much we're going to invest in this at the bottom. And more importantly, the magic number here is what percentage of our portfolio does that represent? That's the magic number. That's the point we need to be worried about. If you are not concerned, I mean, it's all good and fine that we are concerned with, you know, this is how far we're going to plan down, and this is how, you know, and then beyond here, man, you know, we've got some Hail Marys left. Back down here, all the way down to 0, right? Some real opportunities on these buy points here. But what we're hoping to see is we're hoping to see a jog down to here and then some action back up into here later. Well, how much of this opportunity do you plan to lose when it actually does get to here? 0. That's the number you need to work backwards from. You got to work backwards from 1% of your portfolio, 10% of your portfolio? How much of your portfolio are you going to lose in this opportunity? That's what we have to work backwards from. So keeping that intelligence, figuring out what percentage of opportunity we are allocated or going to be allocated in a in all of our opportunities and then adding that number up? Well, if you add up that number, if you add up 10% here and 10% there and 10% and 15% and 20% and 30% that you're going to be allocated and 50% that you're going to be allocated, because that's how much money you plan to spend, you get 230% of your portfolio when the market goes down to here and you realize you can't execute that plan. Business intelligence is what keeps you sane. Business intelligence, hooking that information up and figuring out where you are in your positions and how much you've spent so far and what portion of your portfolio that is. Well, that's just something that exchange really has a crap job of telling you. Go out and look for more software to solve this problem, because there's some good portfolio management software out there. And I'm going to show you some later in the week that I've written to give to you to make this easier. But what I want to do is I want to focus right now on, now that we have determined that we want to do this across, 50 opportunities, which means that we are maximum allocated at 2% of our portfolio. If our portfolio is, $5,000, 1 BTC, how much of that can we spend up here? We know all the way down to here. If this is the opportunity we really are going to be interested in, if this really is the plan we're going to make, if we really are going to be doing this across a bunch of different ones, we're using automation to keep track of our portfolio, keep track of our position. Now what? We're selling down, we're buying up. How can we automate this further? Well, at the point at which we've developed the strategy that this is our bottom, this is where we want to have maximized our investment, right down here, our last Hail Mary, and this is the spectrum that we want to work on. And we're saying that the opportunity is for us to get in, to get out right here, up here. We buy some. If it comes down here and then goes up to here, we want to get out. Just get out the opportunity, right? Maybe hold on to some for later. Maybe, give ourselves a little bit more ceiling to work in. Say this is our, our absolute get out line, and we want to take profits all the way up through this right here. And then, of course, we want to come back down and buy this again when it comes back down. Let's just plot these theoretical, market motions. It comes down here, comes up here, gives us some profit, comes down here, bounces off of here, be doing some buying again, of course, comes up here, does one of this. We need to reanalyze what our bottom is, right? Maybe it comes down to right here before taking off. Right? Let's not get too excited there. Okay. Maybe it dips further. Plans in place, whatever you do. But what have we really said here? What we really said is we've said this here, well, this is the point that we're out, and this here, this is the point that we're in. 100%. Let's label these. This is 100% of our allocation targeted. And this here, well, this is 0% of our allocation targeted. What other interesting lines do we have in here? I mean, let's just get rid of this for a minute. We've done our analysis. We know what the actual plan looks like. We know we're going to be buying all along this spectrum right here. Let's simplify the plan. We don't know what's going to happen. All we know is we want to be in this opportunity. We want to make some money. We want to make some money. We want to buy some right here and then make a plan to buy some more. We want to make a plan and buy, sell it up here and buy it down here. Okay? Oh, if that's the case, if that's all we're going to do is we're going to buy when it goes down and sell when it goes up, then the question rapidly becomes, what is your percentage profit? How far does it have to go down before it then goes up again and you start selling out? What is this? 10%? 15%? Well, we could certainly measure the motion of the market, right? Let's measure the motion of the market. What's this motion right here? What's this guy? It's 20%. Okay. So can we figure out what, 20% is right there? Sure. Okay. Now, if we decide to move inside of 20%, do we make some money? Yeah, we make a lot of money, right? What happens is the market comes down and we start buying right here, and now we are allocated for this much, and then we come up and, don't make any money because we don't sell anything because we're in our dead zone of not selling anything. But then it comes up over here, and we start making some money. Well, what does that do to our position? Well, it allows us to start buying down here. And here we're out of the market entirely. Well, we come down here, and now we start buying at this point in the market. Okay? Then it comes up and we do nothing because we're not outside. Then we come up and it does nothing, and we buy some more down here. Then it comes up and it does nothing, and then we buy some more. Here it's just moving in the dead zone. Here we're moving down more. So what we're saying is we're waiting for the market to move up this amount before we sell. And then we're going to move this line up to represent our new opportunity. Okay? And then if the thing comes down and we keep on buying down the market like we know we're going to be doing anyway, well, here's our new sell point when the market does one of these. Now, do you want to... Let me just make this solid here. And we'll make it yellow. Now, do you want to be buying this whole time? Or do you want to be using your opportunities your signals to get you in the market when the market finally signals it's time down here? Well, how can we automate that? How can we automate, all of this? Well, one way is just doing the signals, sure. We have to wait for the RSI, we have to wait for the MACD, we have to wait for that. What's another way of thinking about this? How could we use automation to solve this problem? Well, we could use this strategy over again. See this strategy right here where we use this window? What if it's time to buy? Okay. We've been doing a little bit of selling up here. Okay. And then the market comes down and it's time to buy. Market comes down and it says, well, let's do some buying. One thing we could do is we could put our market order in right away, right? Let's say that this is the opportunity we're chasing right here. Right? We've been doing our selling, and look, it's time to buy. Let's make that a little bigger. Look, it's time to buy. Well, one opportunity is just go ahead and place the market order and do your buying. Or we could use this strategy over again. Make it a little smaller. Look, if the market is going down, we don't do any buying, but if it goes up, then we do the buying. So how does that work? Well, if we just do the buying right here, we would have bought at this position. This is our initial sort of get in. But if we automate getting in, and we wait for it to come up a little bit, what happens is then the market comes down. Okay. Then the market recovers again, and it comes back up to right here, and we do our buying. So the difference was, at first we did our buying here, but because we use something called a trailing stop, where this thing trails down the market until the market turns around and stops and gives us our money, this would have given us a better opportunity. Okay. So we can just use trailing stops to keep us out of positions when the market is going down. Market is going down, don't buy. The market is going up, go ahead and buy, because it's, you know, it's time to do our buying and get in. And then what happens is, look, you know, remember our original plan here? Okay. Well, it's time to buy some more. It's time to buy some more. And then maybe it's time to take a little bit of profits right here. Time to take a little bit of profits. So where is it time to buy? Right here. Market comes up, we get our buy in. Market comes back down. Do some more buying. Why? Because the market comes back up and we're using our trailing stop over here. Let's make our trailing stop green. Can't even see it. We're using our trailing stop over here. So it comes up and the market, you know, it buys us in right here. So we bought here. I'm sorry, we bought here and we bought here. And, you know, we'll probably be doing a little bit more buying somewhere around in here because it'll probably come up and give us these opportunities. These trailing stops are an automated way to keep you out of the market when it's not time to buy. The same thing works in reverse when it's time to sell, right? Here we're coming along and it's time to sell. Well, look, if the market's going up, we don't need to sell. We can just wait. But if the market then comes back down, time to sell. Well, if we had initially thought we were going to sell right here, we could have gotten a better price by waiting for the market to go up and then come back down again. By making this even a little bit wider, we can kind of take advantage of some of these, you know, some of this, and maybe we don't get it. Maybe we get the, you know, maybe we get trail stopped here. But by making it even wider, we can take even more advantage here. This comes up, okay, comes up to here, and then now we do our selling up here rather than down here. The point I'm making about these trailing stops and this form of automation, this form of keeping you out of opportunities when the market is going up or down that you shouldn't be taking because the market is going for you and you should wait, they change. Depending upon what situation the market is in, a setting that was very valid over here that would have made you a lot of money, well, it doesn't work over here, okay? It doesn't have the same effect. You can't make the same money when the market is going sideways here as you did when the market was going down and then up and then down again. So this opportunity looks less good than other ones for the volatility. You want that volatility, you want that motion. You want it to be further down the chart because that's where all the price percentage action happens. Is down here, all these little ones, I mean, this is 12% right here. I'll take my 12%, right? So if this is my trailing stop and I said market's moving in 12% motions, I'm going to set it for 5% and be happy with that. Look at what happens, right? If I thought I was going to be doing my buying, if I thought it was time to sell right here and I waited, I can get a better sell off. I can get better sells off the whole way. So this idea of sort of using this trailing range, this range of market motion that we're just going to plot along. Here's a range of market motion that we're going to plot along. And then within this range, there's a range of market motion we're going to plot along for doing our buying and selling. Cycles within cycles, epicycles. I call this doing a straddle. And the reason I call this a straddle is because it's like putting your left leg here and your right leg here, and just which way the boat rocks, well, that's how you move. That's how you go with it. You straddle the whole market. You take a high point and a low point, and you move within that range. This is an easier thing to automate than it is to actually try and compute on paper. But when you combine these ideas of the trailing stops and the straddles, you combine them with human intelligence. You combine them with the knowledge that comes in here and says, well, look at the analysis. It's obviously not a good time to be buying. I'm going to turn this off for a minute while this thing sorts itself out and go invest my money in other opportunities that are making me money like now, like rep. But I'm certainly going to have a plan for when it comes down to here. I'm going to turn this back on, and I want to be doing a lot of buying when it comes down to here. And I certainly want to be holding a position in case it just for some reason takes off. And I'm going to straddle this with 1% of my portfolio. 1% of my portfolio will be allocated for this point in the market. Up until then, I still have that opportunity free. I'm going to straddle this with 10% of my portfolio. 10% of my portfolio will be allocated down here at the bottom of the market. 0% of my portfolio will be allocated here. Now this range right here, well, this doesn't have to be a straight gradient, right? This doesn't have to be, you know, a 50% situation. Here's your 50%. Okay. This doesn't have to be, here's where I'm holding 0% of my portfolio. Here's where I'm holding 100% of my portfolio in this opportunity, allocated for this opportunity. That does not necessarily imply that 50% of your portfolio would be allocated here. The reason for that is because you're just moving. You're not really taking advantage of the dollar cost averaging. You're just moving up and down with the market, trying to take advantage of your opportunities. And that's fine if you just have a market that does nothing but goes sideways, and all you want to do is place little itty-bitty bets, right? But if you really want a dollar cost average when the market comes down, well, you need to shift your 50% mark down a bit. Like here, right? Because this is like the last time you're going to buy before you double up down here type of thing. Or if you're quadrupling up, your 50% mark is, you know, somewhere in here, it gets lower and lower and lower. What this means is that you have less of your, you know, this is 20% of your, 10% of your portfolio, 5% of your portfolio, 10%, 15, you know, 20% of your portfolio, 30% of your portfolio, 50% of your portfolio, 70% of your portfolio. You're going to be doing a lot of your buying down here. So this isn't a linear scale. You might call this a logarithmic scale. You might call this an exponential scale. Whatever scaling you assign this, that's how you figure out your price points along the way. And then this is just a function of how much money you want and how much money you want to wait to make before you make your money. This is it. This is 5%. This is 10%. You think the market's going to move more than 10%? Then set it for 10% and forget it. Go make your money elsewhere. Now go do this 50 times. Go do this over and over and over and over again, and then wait for them to take off, because then one of them does this, right? One of them does this, and you go, woohoo, all right, I just made a bunch of money. You take that money and your portfolio increases, and the other ones, they sink away from you, and you spend it on them, and you've allocated that already. You already know how much you're going to spend on that. All of these opportunities will make you money. Here's an opportunity that made you money. Why? Because you bought the bottom, and you straddled it, and you turned it around, and you sold up here, and now you're getting ready to get back in when it comes back down again. You're straddling the market. I love this strategy. This is the best strategy I have ever found for making money in these markets. I am not saying that it's foolproof. I am pointing out it's false. The market can go to zero. You can over-allocate. You can create a situation where you have spent too much money down here at the bottom of the market, more than you planned to, because you didn't plan the trade and trade the plan. You can buy into a market that gets delisted, that never goes up again, never returns in the way that it does, and it eventually does. But you have to be in the market in order to make the money. These opportunities are what you make of them. And straddling the market makes it so you can set it and get it. If you accept the risks are real. How much do you plan to lose when this market goes to zero? How much do you plan to lose when it goes to here and gets delisted? How much do you plan to lose when this exchange gets hacked? You know, I said this the other day, and I said this jokingly, not actually knowing that they had suffered a security breach, which resulted in significant losses. The exchange has been put into maintenance mode, and they have not told us what the damages are, or if any of us will ever see our money again. How much money did you plan to lose when Cryptopia got hacked? How many opportunities were you straddling, and what portion of your portfolio was that? Was that 10% of your portfolio? With that 10%, you have 100% of the opportunities. How many opportunities are you going to straddle on this exchange? If you're going to do this over and over, if you're going to do this across 6 exchanges, which you need to, if you're going to do this with and keep track of all of these opportunities and keep track of where you are and manage all of these plans, you are going to need automation. Everything that I have taught you is critical. Just because you're not actually going to do it on a daily basis does not mean that the learning isn't valuable. Knowing how and why to plan the trade and trade the plan gives you the freedom to do something like put a straddle on. And then when the market goes down, you're actually happy for the first time, because you see it buying more and more and more as it goes down, and then it turns around and it goes up again, and it makes you money because you dollar cost averaged your way down, and then you went into the profit, and then you're selling. Automation is how you plan the trade and trade the plan. And that is the way of the trader. Now, next time what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about the dark side. Weapons of mass financial destruction. Ways to ruin you. And I hope that up until now, you have steeled yourself with the information that I have taught you. You have sat here and taught yourself to plan the trade and trade the plan, because what I'm going to show you on Wednesday is deadly, and it goes against everything that I have taught you. I'm going to show you how it works, and I'm going to show you what it is. I'm going to show you how to take advantage of it too. And so I invite you to join me on Wednesday for our journey into the dark arts. But I do ask you to remember the plan in doing so. Tomorrow, I'll be doing some more charting, seeing how straddles work and how straddles have worked in the past, giving you some more validation in terms of scientific evidence and proof about how you can make money with these and how the settings work. And we'll be doing a little bit of, plotting on these tomorrow morning during our charting sessions. I do ask that you please bring some charts that you are interested in seeing to our charting sessions. That would be awesome. Sensei Kevlar reminding you to plan the trade and trade the plan. Good night, everyone.